You're watching Headstart. Labor groups are up in arms after the Labor Secretary said ending all forms of contractualization is not possible. Pia Gutierrez reports.
Militant labor groups refuse to soften their stand on the issue of contractualization, even as Labor Secretary Silvestre Bello earlier admitted a total ban on the practice is not possible. Protesting outside the office of the Dollar Wednesday, the groups reminded the agency of President Duterte's campaign promise to abolish contractualization.
Ipatupad ang mga pangako. Huwag kaming paasahin tulad ng ginawa ng iba pang mga nagdagdaang mga pamahalaan.
Former regular employees of the country's flag carrier Philippine Airlines see contractualization as nothing but a scourge for workers. Back in 2011, they lost their jobs when the company decided to outsource their services instead.
Ang panawagan namin ni Presidente Duterte, wakasan na ang contractualization at dapat lahat ng mga empleyado o manggagawa sa Pilipinas dapat regular na.
On Tuesday, Labor Secretary Silvestre Bello clarified that President Duterte meant to stop illegal forms of contractualization, which include endo or labor-only contracting. Bello explains there are legitimate forms of contractualization allowed by law, but Bello's own Undersecretary Joel Maglusod contradicts him.
Ito naman ang marching order ng presidente natin na wakasan itigil na ang contractualization, lahat ng tipo ng contractual na paggawa.
Ang ibig sabihin, sir, ni Presidente, all forms of contractualization, hindi lang basta endo, hindi lang.
Yes, lahat. No, upang maibalik natin yung mga karapatan natin ng mga manggawa, karapatan batay doon sa 1987 constitutional provisions natin.
This is why for labor groups, only the abolition of all forms of contractualization would be acceptable for the labor sector. The groups also slammed the Department of Trade and Industry's proposed win-win structure, saying that this would only result in widespread contractualization. The Labor Department is set to conduct the last leg of the Labor Summit in Cebu, which is meant to gather workers' position on the issue of contractualization. Bello says the labor group stance will be taken into account in the department's official position on contractualization, which is expected to be released before the end of the year. Pia Gutierrez, ABS-CBN News.
And joining us on Hot Copy this morning, the chairman of the Philippine Association of Legitimate Contractors, or Palscon, Butch Guerrero, and Palscon President Roda Kaliwala. Thank you for coming, Roda.
Good morning.
Butch, thank you for coming. All right, no less than the Labor Secretary has said, we cannot eliminate all forms of contractualization. What exactly is contractualization in your definition?
Okay. Good morning, Karen. Contractualization is not found in the English dictionary. It was coined by the late Crispin Beltran, referring to the 5-5 endo system, which is a malpractice in our industry. So when you say contractualization, let's hope we're referring to that. But the proper term for that is service contracting, which involves project-based, seasonal-based work, and all this contractualization thing, it encompasses that.
But if it's project-based, that would be legal.
Yes, it is legal.
Point. Yeah.
Yes, it is legal, Karen.
Okay, go on.
Okay, and we have all forms, like we're going to the Christmas season where shoppers would be visiting a lot of retail establishments, and we need people to sell these items. We need people to deliver this, and these are legitimate forms of contracting, and we cannot remove this. What we're saying is we have a problem. The President Duterte says we don't want 5-5-5 and we don't want endo, and definitely Palscon together with Roda supports the call of President Duterte of ending 5-5-5 and endo. What we're saying is we address that directly, but don't remove the whole industry, because the whole industry is employing millions of Filipinos.
Okay, Roda, is the Department of Labor right now removing the whole industry?
Actually, during the last pronouncement or the last pronouncement of DOLE Secretary Bello, he is considering to retain the industry of service contracting but eliminate the 5-5-5 and the endo. So we are with the government actually in eliminating totally prohibiting 5-5-5 and endo.
Now, what is the difference with labor-only contracting?
Labor-only contracting is when you supply only people, supply employees to the principal or client companies, and you don't exercise control over these employees.
Isn't that common?
That is common. That's why we are now campaigning also for the practice, actual practice.
So, for the benefit of our viewers, what would be the difference between labor-only contracting and outsourcing labor?
Okay. Total outsourcing involves doing everything and not merely supplying manpower, Karen. But before I do that, let me explain where it came from to understand that. Our labor code is a 40-year-old labor code, and I wasn't even born that time. Okay, and it was addressing the cabo system, where you have a cabo or a supervisor just paying merely the workers and contracting it out. That's illegal under the present laws right now. However, times have changed. Left and right, there have been developments because of technology and because of the way we do things right now. It's growing very fast, and we need to be flexible in business. And labor-only contracting is only found in the Philippines. It's not found in any country in the world. That's why we're having problems right now. But however, it is in the labor code in Articles 106 to 109.
That you can labor-only contract?
No, you cannot. You cannot. Because you just
Then why is it only here in the Philippines?
Because of the cabo system that started. We are an agricultural country 30 years ago. But now we are not an agricultural country.
But would it be considered illegal if it is not in the law?
Yes, definitely.
Yes, yes. What I mean is, labor-owned contracting is illegal because it's in 106 to 109. But then we have to follow the law because that is what is stated in the labor code.
Okay. I don't understand. So labor-only contracting is illegal?
Yes.
It is not in the law?
No, it is in the law.
What do you mean it's in the law?
It's in Articles 106.
It's illegal nga.
There are prohibitions actually.
No, is it illegal or is it allowed by law?
Not allowed.
Okay, but then there are many companies that practice labor-only contracting today.
I'm sorry to say yes.
So should they be closed down?
No, they don't need to be closed down. They need to stop this illegal practice. And then correct the practices, and then submit yourselves to the Department of Labor and Employment for inspection.
Now these companies that practice labor-only contracting, what kind of businesses are they in? Give us specific examples. You don't have to name the company, but for example, how do they do it?
Well, there are companies that are into manufacturing.
Okay.
There are companies that are into retail.
So let's say manufacturing. How do they do it? You're a factory.
Yes. They get people, they engage with service providers, and then they just get people from these providers, and then the control is being exercised by the principal companies. So it is supposed to be exercised by the providers, actually.
I see. Okay, but what about these internal job hiring system? I mean, you have big companies that do that.
Well, actually, there are two kinds of arrangements, Karen. We call it bilateral. One is bilateral arrangement, and the other one is trilateral arrangement. When you say trilateral arrangement, there is a manpower provider, there is a principal engaging the services of the provider, and employees. So trilateral, tatlo. The other one is bilateral, which wherein the company or the client company hires directly the employees there. And if there is a trilateral arrangement, so the control should be exercised, or the supervision should be exercised by the provider and not the principal.
Okay, but when it comes to labor-only contracting, so you gave an example of manufacturing. What are the other industries?
Well, it involves in the retail industry, in the restaurant industry.
So like in the retail industry, what kind of jobs?
Okay, you have merchandisers,
Sales girls.
salespeople, and it's connected to the 555 system, because in the labor code, if you work in any company for 6 months and 1 day, you are considered regulars, Karen. So, to prevent people from becoming regulars, they terminate the contract on the 5th month, and then they renew the contract on the again on the 5th month, so thus the 555 system. So they're preventing these people from being regulars. So what's the fuss over that? Why don't you want these workers to be regular? Because they believe that if you are under contractualization or under contract, you don't get full benefits. That's a misconception. In the legitimate way of contracting, you on day one, you get your full benefits. These benefits would be SSS, field health, pag-ibig, 13th month pay, maternity leave, paternity leave, and so on. So there's a misconception that if you are not regular, you don't get these benefits. But if you're if you're contractual, you don't get these benefits, and regular, you only get this benefit. That's a misconception. Does the 555 system. But in the legitimate way of contracting, you get all these benefits.
But then before we started in the program, you said that companies are concerned that the Department of Labor's intensive campaign against the labor-only contracting policy is forcing companies to regularize.
Yes. Actually,
is that a good thing?
Well, that is the direction now because of the directive from the president to reduce the number of contractual employees by 50% in 2016 and 100% in 2017. Now, Department of Labor and Employment deployed LLCOs or labor law compliance officers, and they are now asking companies actually to absorb regularized employees found to be labor-only contract, engaged in labor.
So is that good or bad?
Well, it has been causing panic to most of our members and all the industry players.
But then you just told me that labor-only contracting is illegal. Then they should regularize your members. You see what I mean?
Yes, so, Karen, we understand.
So what do you want? Well, do you want them to keep doing something illegal or to regularize?
Look, because in our case, Karen, when we say, we just wanted to tell people that there is legitimate service contracting. And when you say legitimate service contracting, we give full benefits to all.
Yes.
We comply with the general labor standards issued by the Department of Labor and Employment. We also provide occupational health and safety standards. Well,
but this is not labor-only contracting.
That is not labor-only contracting.
So I want to ask you, you told me labor-only contracting is illegal.
Yes.
The dollar wants it stopped.
Yes.
They're forcing companies to regularize.
Wait, stop there. Labor-only contracting is illegal.
Okay.
Okay. However, there is we cannot regularize all the people.
So what?
Because of the nature of work, that they cannot work the whole year round.
Okay. So what is the right thing? Good compromise.
Okay. The middle ground is this win-win situation proposed by Secretary Mon Lopez of the DTI, that these people would receive full benefits even if they are under the contractual setup, assuming that's the definition, and then we give them the full benefits. And if the work, then we give them separation pay, the or/. Pay. Because contracting is a worldwide trend, Karen. And for the Philippines, example, in 2 years, you don't need these people anymore. They transfer to another project and build another ship. That's what you call contracting it out.
But I don't think that's the issue. I think the big concern is, let's say you are in manufacturing or retail, you're a factory, you make clothes.
Yes, you make clothes. You have regular employees because you usually make clothes all year round. But when the orders come in, like you increase the orders by 60, 80% because of the Christmas season or because of certain demands, then you need more workers for 3 or 4 months. That's contracting and subcontracting. You need them for a short period of time. And then these workers, are usually at the high school level, and after 3 or 4 months working for us, they get the necessary skills, and if their performance is really good, then they become regulars already. That's what we are. There's a process to it, and as I said earlier ago, there is a problem, the 555 and the end thing. We don't want that, and that's what LOC is addressing. But let's not remove the whole industry, because it's employing a lot of people, it's giving business flexibility, it's making us competitive in the ASEAN market.
And if I may add, two main reasons actually why there is a big, strong clamor to abolish or prohibit totally service contracting. Number one is the misconception and the wisdom, understanding, and importance of service contracting that would benefit not only national economy, but at least it is a big help in reducing the employment problem in the country. Number two is the issue of non-compliance to existing laws, rules, and regulations like DO 18-A, and which gives rise actually sa proliferation of the illegitimate service contractors, or the so-called fly-by-night.
But do you police your own members?
Yes, we
How?
do. Yes, we do.
What do you do?
We keep on encouraging them actually to comply with because we know all along kung ano yung set of rules, regulations. We have this DO 18-A, and we've been actually, if I may also, we know that DOLE kasi is running after the legitimate service contractors because they have the list
I think
of
that's,
service
I
contractors.
think that's your issue.
Okay.
Your issue really, I think, is you're saying that the Department of Labor is also running after legitimate
That's right.
contractors.
And if I may say,
What would the difference be?
Oh, okay. Karen, before the implementation of, I'm sure you're familiar with the Department Order 18-A. This is the set of rules, implementing rules and guidelines governing the contracting and subcontracting arrangement. In 2011, that's the year when DO 18 was implemented, there were 16,000 service contractors. And after the implementation of DO 18-A in 2011, it was drastically, significantly reduced to 5,150. So that's almost 70% already. So since, I don't know if DOLE has the list of the illegitimate service contractors, but the problem now is they are running after, since they have the list of registered ones, so they're now running after
Okay. I want us to come clean. I mean, are you a service contractor?
I am.
Okay, are you a service contractor?
For the past 55 years.
So what
yes.
makes both of you, I mean, legitimate? What is the difference over, let's say, the others? I think you should.
Okay, number one is we are registered under Department Order 18-A, and most of us or some of us have certificates of compliance. We went through this, what's this, compliance
we
system.
went through this process.
Yes.
We give them the minimum wage law, sometimes a lot more than the minimum wage. We give them SSS PhilHealth Pag-ibig.
So the ones that you employ are answerable to you?
Yes.
Are the benefits coming
Yes,
from you?
Yes.
that is right. That is right.
Not coming from the company?
No.
Okay.
Yes, the responsibility is on us.
So that's the right way?
Yes.
Okay, go on.
And then we conform to occupational safety standards. We conform to general labor standards. When we say this, the full benefits, the right salaries, the rights of the workers are protected, and we give them the decent work agenda by the International Labor Organization.
So what kind of workers do you service out?
We provide people for retail and
Sales girls.
Yes, salespeople, and logistics as well. What else? Manufacturing. People in the
So
manufacturing.
the people that you provide, would you consider them regularized under your company? No.
Yes, we consider them regular employees of ours. Because in the provision of the Department Order 18-A, they are co-terminus. Our employees are co-terminus of our contracts also with our principals. So every time na matapos sila or our contract with our company or with our client companies expire, then we could just transfer them to some other.
So I'm curious, like a sales girl, for example, now that I know this is your business, if the contract expires, let's say with a mall, how many months are we talking about? How long do they keep the contract with you?
It depends. It depends on the contract also that we have with our client companies. If our contract with our client companies is 5 years, then they would be with us also for 5 years for that company, deployed in that company.
But the problem you have now is there's no growth. They cannot have a promotion.
No, they have.
Within your company or the mall?
Yes. No, with us. In fact, some of our employees are being absorbed by the principal companies as well, depending on the qualifications of the people. So most of them are now managers, supervisors.
So when they're absorbed, they no longer work with you?
Yes.
How many are those?
A lot. Because we were able to equip them, train them, so they are now qualified to be managers as well and supervisors. They have career growth. Yeah.
All right, we have a texter here, Shara Zambrano, our reporter, is asking, and her point is, apart from benefits, security of tenure is a problem for contractuals.
Okay, let's define what security of tenure is. And I've talked to a lot of people, those who wrote the Philippine Labor Code. Security of tenure is you just can't remove a person for any reason without going to due process. But there are just and authorized causes for terminating employment. Okay? Or the person is not safe in the work environment. So these are just and authorized causes for removing people. So there's security of tenure, that you just can't remove people left and right. But what the trade unions are referring to, security of tenure, is the length of service in a company, that they want to work for 10 years, 20 years, 25 years.
What's wrong with that?
Okay, the demands of the market dictates that because of the changes in technology and the way we do things, jobs that exist now would not be existing 5 years from now. So we need to adapt, we need to change, we need to be flexible. So the theory of working for a company for 20 to 25 years does not hold water now because of the new way we are doing things, Karen.
Okay, here's another question. How can they plan out their family's future without the certainty of a job that will see them through? Because let's say, I don't know if a sales girl that you contract out would know, oh wow, si boss may kontrata dito sa mall na to ng 5 years. Hindi naman nila alam yun. You don't tell them that?
We do, because they have a contract with us, right?
Okay.
So it's stated in the contract as to the length also of how long they're gonna work for us also.
Bank will lend you unless you have a regular job.
They are regular employees of ours.
So what happens if the contract is over? Where do you put them?
Actually, it's easier for us. If they're with us, it's easier for them to look for jobs. Kasi they don't need to hop from one company to another to look for a job. Unlike if they're employed with us, we'll be the one looking for jobs for them. We'll be the one looking for companies for them.
So are you trying to tell me, even if, let's say, it's a lean month, you can't find a job, you're paying them salary? Yon, that's it. You get the point. That's the issue. So let's say it's a lean month. Here's someone. I'm not as lucky.
Okay, no.
No,
okay,
my question. That's the question.
Yeah, okay.
All right, so what happens? I have a family. You can't find me a job. I'm employed under you. Are you paying me salary? You said no.
It's not naman that we are not paying them salary, but then that's actually the reason why we equip them, we train them to be qualified and to be more employable. And
I understand your efforts, but the reality of life is, are they employed all the time?
most of them are employed.
That's not the point. Are they employed all the time?
No, they are not employed all the time, but we are extending to them not 555, not on a 5-month basis. They are regular to us, but sometimes they are employed to us for 1 year or 2 years. Some are even employed for 5 years. But after those period, they are now more employable, Karen. They are, because they have been trained, they learned on the job, and they can go up the ladder because they have built up their skills. Remember, we're not
how does a salesperson build up their skills?
Okay, example, in a retail establishment.
If, let's say, the retail establishment does not make the effort to actually train them.
No, they just sorry.
Yes, sure.
But go ahead.
It's our responsibility actually to train them, to equip them, and not the responsibility of anyone else, because they are our employees. Well, actually, service contracting offers flexibility.
Okay.
Okay. If I may say that manufacturing nowadays is unbundled, sliced, diced into separate fragments, right? Distributed and spread all over the globe. And service contracting, well, product of Japan now, product of the US, product of Europe may now be product of the world, diba? Because various functions or parts are being outsourced, and Philippines is one of the of these countries linked as one supply chain. So ito yung ino-offer namin.
I wanted to ask you, isn't this just a way for companies, honestly speaking, to get out of the responsibility of taking care of more people? You have many companies that essentially want to streamline.
Yes. Yes.
Isn't this just a way out for them?
It gives them flexibility, not a way out. I would disagree with that. Because they don't need the labor the whole year round. They need it only on certain months in a year. But we do have projects, Karen, that encompasses for 2 years, for 3 years. So they're secured on that. Now, after those 2 years or 3 years, then they get on-the-job training. Your question ago was, how can you train a sales girl? By being on the job for a year, I'm sure that girl would be able to handle any customer better than somebody who did not work as a sales girl for a year.
Okay, so what is your message to the Department of Labor? We have a few minutes.
Okay, that there is legitimate service contracting. Okay, that we are with the government in eliminating, prohibiting 555 and ENDO.
But they have the wrong list. They have the wrong list. Is that
So we are a partner of the Department of Labor and Employment to provide decent jobs to Filipino workers.
Okay.
What we're saying is there are more fly-by-nights or unregistered service contractors out there. Let's do that first. Let's inspect them first. Rather than go to the legitimate ones. Because we are just doing our jobs of providing decent work to these people and offering flexibility to business owners, thus creating competitiveness in the ASEAN company where the Philippines stands.
All right, I think that I agree with both of you in saying at least they should have the right list. That's the first one. Go for the fly-by-nights first. That's the first. Okay, our replay of this interview is 3:30 p.m. this afternoon. Actually, we need another show for this discussion. Thank you for watching. Have a good day, everyone.